Hello and welcome once again. You're listening to Society Girl Saves the World.
आगाज कर रहा हूँ तेरे पाक नाम से, अंजाम कुछ भी हो फिक्र नहीं मुझे। पुलिस नु एक्शन लेन ते मजबूर न कर डॉक्टर डैंग, नहीं तेसी जुलूस नु लाठी चार्ज त्यांसु गैस सुट के भी रोक सकनिया।
Welcome, Cobra, welcome.
Cobra is a Sultan Rahi film that came out in 1991. This is 3 years before he was sadly murdered, and it also stars alongside him another character who was eventually murdered in real life, and that is the actress Nadira. The movie also stars Mohiuddin and Gori, and Salma Agha is in it, Asif Khan, Abid Ali, and there are a whole bunch of other actors, along with, of course, Humayun Qureshi. The plot of the film is in fact a fangled version of the movie from 1978, Bollywood classic starring Amitabh Bachchan by the name of Dawn. And Cobra is in essence really, you could say 3/4, 75% Dawn and 25% of its own. And unfortunately the 25% which it adds and the 25% which it takes away from the real Dawn is a storyline which really doesn't do the movie's pace any favors at all, because it involves a boring romance with a couple of songs which occur in the movie at a situation where the pace of the movie needs to be going up rather than sideways, and unfortunately the songs don't do it much favor at all.
Welcome, Cobra, welcome. देख ले, सानू Cobra gang दी खातिर की पापड़ वेलने पैंदी ने।
ऐसे ले तो Cobra gang दे चीफ दी नजर इच मेरे वांगू तू भी हिट लिस्ट इच है। सुना कंसाइनमेंट तैयार हो गया है?
ओ यस, 2 करोड़ दी हीरोइन एस डेड बॉडी फिट कर देती है।
गुड, very good.
Otherwise, the movie is reasonably entertaining. Sultan Rahi is a little bit past his prime, but he's energetic in the main role, and the rest of the cast do a pretty good job, especially Humayun Qureshi with a funky wig, which suits him rather well.
What do you mean? मैं गद्दारी करूँगा?
Things to remember in this movie: there's the entry of the hero, which is pretty memorable in this case, and that being, of course, Sultan Rahi. His opening revelation as the kingpin of crime, the Cobra himself, is a wonderful scene and one of the undoubted highlights of the film. It starts off intriguingly, and there are some interesting camera angles and shots suggesting that this film will be done in a style that could be a lot of fun to watch, but unfortunately that experimentation doesn't really go too far.
तुम्हारी पुलिस नु मिनिस्ट्री दे आगे तुम हिला दे सिवा और कुछ नहीं आंदा।
जबान पे कंट्रोल कर डॉक्टर डैंग। ए नपुल, तो कानून दे मुहाफिज नाल गल कर रहा है।
And rather than being a fast-paced action thriller, it chooses to become a dramatic, romance-filled song and dance, which is fine. But if you're trying to make a thriller like Dawn, then you either integrate the songs properly into the movie storyline, or then each time there's a song, it slows the movie down. And sadly for this particular movie, it does slow the movie down.
बदतमीज चाहे ठहर जा तुम। ए मिस्टर अन्ने नजर नहीं आंदा?
The songs also really are rather putrid and uninteresting, and none of them stay in your mind after the movie is over. There are some fun twists along the way, and some of them work, some of them don't work that well. But unfortunately, there is also the problem of executing a few key scenes, which in the movie Dawn were the height of suspense, and this time they just don't get it right, and it just falls flat on its face.
Sorry, मैं एम्बुलेंस की तलाशी लेना चाहना. बिल्कुल लो जी.
Salma Agha's heart doesn't appear to be in it really. And Gori is surprising because of her lack of oomph, even though her role doesn't really have much scope. Humayun Qureshi does a decent job, but the real star is the designer of Sultan Rahi's outfits, which are absolutely fantastic. And his villain's den is pretty good as well, with certain wonderful stuffed animals all over the place, and his posse of villains is prone to wearing these wonderful, very cheap rubber masks, which makes for a fine viewing. So Cobra does get it wrong as far as the romantic situation with Mohiuddin and Nadira is concerned, and it's a major part of the story, and unfortunately they included it at the expense of some scenes that they should probably have kept, since they were plagiarizing the movie as it is.
घबराओ ना, ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮਾਲ ਖਰੀਦਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਮਾਈਕਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਹਿਰਾਸਤ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈ. ਉਧਰ ਦੇਖੋ.
So even though it is a fun movie, it has a clumsiness to it that makes it kind of dull around the edges. For example, none of the side cast are memorable at all, and they haven't been given the scope that they were given in 1978's version of Dawn. But I guess living up to Dawn is doing the impossible, and in which case Cobra actually is fun to watch if you can put up with the songs, which take away far too much time and a purpose and a sense of pace to this otherwise pretty good movie.
अच्छा त्यो उस्मा भैन दा की हाल है?
ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਯਾਰ ਦੇ ਲਾਡ ਪਿਆਰ ਨੇ ਵਿਗਾੜ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈ. ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨਾ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਬਾਵਜੂਦ ਕਾਲਜ ਦੀਆਂ ਸਹੇਲੀਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਮਰੀ ਸੈਰ ਕਰਨ ਗਈ ਹੈ.
अच्छा साडी भैन उस्मा आजकल मरी दियां फजावां विच अपनियां सहेलियां नाल मौजां कर रही है.
I think the fight scenes are not quite up to it. They should have been far more spectacular in this particular movie. So on the whole, it's pretty good, but it does suffer from the fact that the storyline that they tried to weave in on their own really doesn't work out and pulls the movie down a gear rather than shift it upwards. You have every right to expect quite a lot from a film like a Lollywood Sultan Rahi version of Dawn, and it should have been a classic, but somehow or the other it falls short. It's done in a clumsy manner, and it doesn't have any of the pacing and suspense of Dawn. As a Punjabi Lollywood movie, it's more than entertaining enough, but a little bit slow in places as well. For us, basically, though, it lacked just a little bit of spice, a little bit of masala, a little bit of style. The outfits should have been more interesting. Just generally, the film just lacks a little bit of flair, and therefore comes across as being just a little flat.
एक हजार एक तो एक सप्ताह जहर निचोड़िया जाए, एक कोबरा बन जाए.
Which brings us to the end of Society Girl Saves the Day for another week, and thanks for listening in, and until next time, stay safe, bye bye.